Om Gurureva Ghati Gurumeva Bhaje Gurunaiva Sahasmi Namo Gurave Na Guruv Paramam Shishurasmi Guru Matirasti Guru Mama Pahi Guru सच्चिदानन्दरूपाय विश्वोत्पत्त्यादिहेतवे तापत्रयविनाशाय श्रीकृष्णाय वयं नमः। कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय हरये परमात्मने प्रणतः क्लेशनाशाय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः। यं प्रव्रजन्तमनुवेदमभेदकृत्यं द्वैपायनो विरहकादर आजुहाव पुत्रेति तन्मयतया तरवोऽभिनेदुस्तं सर्वभूतहृदयं मुनिमानतोऽस्मि। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। सर्वेभ्यः नमस्कारः. We are seeing Srimad Bhagavada Purana and we have completed Canto 6 and we are seeing Canto 7 and I have completed first chapter in Canto 7. In my last video, we saw that King Yudhishthira asked some questions to Sage Narada when he came to his Rajasuya Yajna. And one of the questions was, what was the reason behind King Hiranyakashipu, that is Asura Hiranyakashipu, so much in anger with his own son Prahlada? And for that, the reason, that is the answer, Sage Narada is giving in this chapter, chapter 2. Sage Narada said that Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu, they were both very close brothers with so much of love and devotion towards each other because in their previous janma, they were Jaya and Vijaya, the chief attendants of Vaikuntha. And they have Atma Jnana and they have complete devotion to Bhagavan. But due to the curse that happened from the Sanat Kumara Rishis, they forgot that Atma Jnana, they were degraded from that position and they became Asuras and they were born to Didi as Hiranyakashipu and Hiranyaksha. So Bhagavan Sri Hari, he took the avatara as the cosmic boar, that is the Varahamurti avatara, and he killed Hiranyaksha and he retrieved the earth from Hiranyaksha and helped the Devas and all the other beings to stay on the earth. Because the Manu, he requested Lord Brahma to retrieve the earth from the water of deluge. It went so deep. Hiranyaksha, he hid it there. He held that the earth, Bhumi Devi there. No one could retrieve it, so they all worshipped Bhagavan Sri Hari and he took the avatara of Varahamurti and retrieved the earth from Hiranyaksha and killed Hiranyaksha also. So Hiranyakashipu was so much disturbed by this. He was his very close brother. He was so much disturbed by it. And all that is the Hiranyaksha's wife and children, they were also in great grief. And his mother, Diti, she was also in so much worry because she lost one of her sons. So Hiranyakashipu wanted to take revenge for it. And he called all that Asuras, Daityas and everyone. And he said that the power of Sri Hari is that from the Bhumi, everyone is giving him oblations and they were doing all those Vedic rituals. By that only he is so powerful. And the rishis and all the brahmanas are worshipping him with mantras, and that's why he is very powerful. If Sri Hari is powerful, then we cannot survive. He will only help the devas. So we have to weaken Srihari and we have to destroy Srihari. That's what Hiranyakashipu said to his friends, Asuras, and all all the Daityas. And so that you all go to Bhumi, and that is to the earth, and destroy all the Vedic yajnas, kill the Brahmanas, kill the Rishis, so that Srihari will lose his power. So all the deities and ashuras, they destroyed many Vedic rituals. They destroyed many sacrificial altars. They destroyed many brahmanas, many rishis. They killed everyone. They destroyed towns, villages, cowhead settlements. No need to say, it goes on. They destroyed everything and they drove off the devas from the heaven also. Seeing all that, they went to somewhere. They were roaming in the earth among men because they do not have any other go. They were hiding in the forest and all that because if the Ashuras see them, then they will kill them. So that's what a great chaos was there in the entire world. This is happening in one side. In the other side, Hiranyakashipu saw that his mother and his brother's wife and children, they were all so worried and they were always crying. So Hiranyakashipu advised them Brahma Vidya, that is Atma Vidya, and he said about the nature of the Atma and the body because he could vaguely remember all this because he was in the previous Janma, Jaya and Vijaya. He and his brothers were Jaya and Vijaya, isn't it? And what he said was, Hiranyakashipu said, नित्य आत्मा व्यय शुद्धः सर्वग सर्ववित्परः दत्ते सामात्मनो लिंगम मायया विसृजन् गुणान्. This Atma is Nityah, eternal, Avyayah, changeless, Shuddha, pure, Sarvagah, it is all pervading, Sarvavit Paraha, it is all knowing. So that is the nature of the Atma. Through the power of Maya, ignorance, it just first projects as the subtle body and then as the gross body. So this is the nature of the Atma and the body. गुणैर्भ्राम्यमाणे मनस्य विकलपुमान् याति तत्साम्यतां भद्रीं ह्यालिङ्गोलिङ्गवानिव. When the gunas of Prakriti disturb or create disturbance in the mind, by that disturbance, this Purusha, which is pure, which does not have any attributes, it assumes or it identifies with the body and mind. This happens because the gunas of Prakriti create disturbance in the mind. And so the Purusha thinks that it is moving, it has this body, it has this mind, and it is related to the sense objects and the senses. So this misidentification is a misidentification because the Purusha is pure. It is without any attributes, but it identifies with the body and mind and thinks that it has a body, it has a mind. So this is a misidentification. It is only because of this misidentification everything happens. That is, first it assumes a body and do some karma. It assumes that I am doing the karma. Actually, this Purusha is pure, but it assumes that I am doing this karma. It experiences a sukha, dukkha, what are all experienced by the body and mind. That is also experienced by this Purusha. It takes birth, death, and everything. So the lack of discrimination to distinguish between the Atma from the body, that is the reason behind all these problems. And Hiranyakashipu further illustrates it with an incident, which it's an ancient incident, and he explains it with this story. It's not a story, it just happened. Once there was a very famous and a very successful king by the name Suyatna. He was ruling the kingdom very well and no one could oppose him. But at one time in the battlefield, he was killed. When he was killed, all his relatives, that is his wives, children, and other relatives, the people from that kingdom, everyone, they surrounded around that body and they were crying, crying, not allowing the body to be cremated. So no one could cremate the body, and they were all sitting around crying. You were like this, you were like that. They were telling and crying. So Yamadharmaraja could not take that jiva. So what he did was he came as a small boy in disguise and advised Atma Vidya to that relatives, not Atma Vidya, what is that really the body and the jiva, that he advised to that all the women and children surrounding that. He said, he who protects us in the womb, he will always protect us. So that jiva is always under protection of that Bhagavan. Yaichayesha srujatimavavyayo yayeva rakshadhyavalumpate chayaha tasya bhala kridanamakurikshithu sarasharam nigraha sangrahe prabhuhu. So that Supreme Lord, He is indestructible. He is unchanging, Avyaya, unchanging. By His mere will, He creates, sustains, and dissolves everything. So what are all we see in this world as moving, chara and achara, moving and unmoving, all these are the creation of Bhagavan. So it is just like the playground of Bhagavan. He creates everything and He plays with it. He is the master of protection and destruction. If he will, that is, if he desires, then he will protect a jiva in any adverse situations. But if he does not will, he does not desire, he will not protect that jiva even when the situation is very peaceful and safe. All that is that Bhagavan does not have any individual preference to this jiva, because in this larger play of this universe, the individual person has importance as well as less importance, because this without a particular jiva, it may be myself or you, anyone, this creation is not complete. But at the same time, to make this universal play happen, he has to change the form of this individual, that is according to his plan, his play, not here the individual ego or the individual's personality plays a little role. So it is all his play and his plan. There is nothing more to worry. Budani taistirnija yoni karma bhirbhavanti kalena bhavanti sarvachaha na tatra hatma prakrtavapi stitastasya gunairanyatamoni badhyade. So guided by their karma that is latent in the subtle body, the jivas, they get the embodiment, and the body that will perish once the jiva does all the karma with this body, then it will discard this body and the body will perish. So according to its karma, the jiva will take another body. It will assume another body. So like this, it goes on. Just like, so the body is different. Body and mind is completely different, entirely different from this Atma. Just like we all live in a house, but it is our house, we identify with it, but this house is entirely different from us. However big that house may be, however small that house may be, it may be a hut or it may be a great palace, whatever it is, this jiva, this person is different, separate from the house, isn't it? Just like that, however big this body, or whether that person is a king or a beggar, this jiva is different from that body and mind. This jiva is that Purusha is that Atma, this Atma is that Brahman. But this body and mind are entirely different from it. This one should understand. So when the jiva is born out of ignorance and it is separate, but this body and mind is superimposed on it. The body and mind are just like an object. It is just like another object, just like that's what he said, that it is just like a house or another object. It is entirely different from the jiva, and this body and mind will disintegrate just like how the bubbles in the water, on the surface of the water, it merge in the water after some time. Just like this body, after some time, it disintegrates and into the great elements. Like this, Yamadharmaraja, as a small child, gave advice to the relatives of that king who died in the battle. And he said a very important point, that Yamadharmaraja said that even when he was alive, you did not see him. You only saw his body and behaved with his mind. That's all. You never saw that real being. Now also you are seeing his body. You are not seeing that real being. You may say that he talked with us, he had indriyas, he had prana. With that prana only he had the thirst and hunger, everything. And with that indriyas only he was able to see, he was able to speak. You may say all that, but this prana and the indriyas were all inert. Even this mind is inert, just like the body. They were all inert. They were all made conscious by that conscious being who is universal. But you did not see all that. You only saw his body and mind, maybe rarely mind. No one even see the mind. They only see the body. You see only the body. Now also you are seeing it. So what is the point in crying over it? You never saw that person, he said. And he said, Bodhendriya Manolingan Dehanuchavachan Vibhuho Yajat Yutsrujadi Hyanyastachabi Swena Tejasa. This jiva assumes the higher and lower bodies according to its karma. This body is formed of elements, and this body is formed of elements or the senses, that is the indriyas and the mind. After its karma is over, this jiva discards all this and it takes another body. That's all. Only when the atma is associated with the subtle body, then this body and mind feels the pain or happiness or sukha or dukkha or all the dualities. Once when the atma dissociates from the linga sharira will not experience any pain or happiness or whatever it is. This disidentification may be due to samadhi, deep samadhi, or while in deep sleep, or in death. The Atma, when it is associated with this body and mind is alive. Once when it separates from this body and mind, then this nothing is experienced by this body and mind. This beautiful advice Yamadharmaraja gave to the crying relatives of that king, dead body of the king. So one should understand this. Actually, one should not give too much importance for this body and mind or what we experience, because one has to take it just like the daydreaming or a dream. Ata nityam va neha sochanti tadvidah nanyata shakyate kartum swabhava sochatamiti. So one who knows about what is the truth, what is permanent and what is not permanent, they never grieve over such silly things, he said. And so there is nothing important, or there is no point in crying like this. Even if you cry like this for 100 years, nothing will happen. You have to cry like this, he said. And he said another story also, the story of the Kulinga birds. He said that once there was a hunter, he used to hunt many birds. And he used to give baits for the birds, and when they come to take it, he will catch it. So like this, many birds were caught. One pair of Kalinga birds, they were sitting on a branch and they were observing all that. But somehow this female bird, it fell in the trap of that hunter and it got hurt and it was killed. Seeing this, that male bird It was just crying, 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 telling who will take care of my children, how can I live alone, and all this it was crying. And he did not notice that the hunter was targeting this bird also. Somehow the hunter caught that male bird also. So both were caught. So Yamadharmaraja said, even the many people's life are like that. They do not realize that their life itself is in question. They cry over the death of others, but they do not realize that they themselves will live only for a very small time. This is very beautifully explained by Adi Shankaracharya also. Every jiva lives just like how that is a snake caught a frog. Inside the mouth of the snake, that frog is trying to catch a fly. So we all are like that. We have our life itself is in question, but we search for everything outside and cry for people who have died and worry over it, lament over it. Our body and our mind will also be destroyed very soon without realizing it. People are like that, he said. एवं भूयमपश्यन्त्य आत्मापायमबुद्धयः नैनं प्राप्स्यत शोचन्त्य पतिं वर्षशतैरपि. Likewise, without the awareness of your own end, you are crying and mourning for your husband. Even if you cry like this for 100 years, everything will be in vain, said Yamadharmaraja. And all the relatives of that king, they realized it and they understood the truth behind the life and the truth behind the jiva. And they were relieved from their grief. And this story was said by Hiranyakashipu. He said the concept behind Atma and that body and mind. And he explained that concept with this story. And even the Hiranyakashipu's relatives were freed from all the grief. His mother, Devi, she has to accept the death of one of her son, and they all were relieved from grief, says Bhagavada Purana. So what happened next was, in the mind of Hiranyakashipu, there was a great deep anger and revenge towards Bhagavan Srihari. So he did tapas so that no one could kill him. He wanted immortality and sovereignty over the entire world. For this, he performed a tapas. Core tapas he performed. He performed tapas for such a long time, worshipping Bhagavan Brahma. He was the creator, isn't it? So he worshipped him. And he did Ghora Tabas for such a long time. He did the Tabas in between that Panchagni. He surrounded himself with Agni, and he was standing on leg and taking both the hands over the head, keeping both the hands over the head and worshipping Lord Brahma, seeing the sun. Just facing the sun, he was standing like this and doing such a great tapas. At one time, this entire world began to feel the power of his tapas. Great waves coming in the ocean, fire everywhere, and the wind is blowing at great speed. Even the Prakriti itself was disturbed by the powerful tapas of Hiranyakashipu. And on the earth, his soldiers were destroying everyone, the Srishis, Brahmanas, everyone. So everything has happened like this. So the Devas, they went to Lord Brahma and reported about it. And Lord Brahma appeared in front of Hiranyakashipu, but he was not aware of it. He is in deep meditation worshipping Bhagavan. And Lord Brahma sprinkled some water on him from his kamandalu, and he came to senses. And when he opened his eyes, he saw Lord Brahma standing in front of him. He immediately worshipped Lord Brahma, prostrated before him. He said that you created this entire universe, and you are said as the Hiranyagarbha because we all were there in a seed form in you. So all the knowledge, whether it is a sacred knowledge or secular knowledge, all are your form. You are beyond the Prakriti, And that's why you are described as Hiranyagarbha, because everyone came from you only. So I am so pleased to meet you like this. Hiranyakashipu worshipped Lord Brahma, and Lord Brahma became very happy, and he said, "What boon do you want? Grant me the boon that none among the creation shall be able to kill me. I want this. I want to be immortal." Nantar naktam anyasmatabi chayudam na bhumo nam pare mrityurna naraina mrugairapi. What a beautiful boon, just see. I should not be killed inside or outside, in the daylight or in the night. I should not be killed by any ayuda weapon. I should not be killed in the bhumi, that is on the earth, or ambara, on the sky. I should not be killed by an animal, narai or mrugai, by a man or an animal. Vyasur bhirva sumad bhirva Surasura haigaihi apradidbhandvatam yudde yekapatyam cha dehinyam. I should not be killed by any living or non-living being. I should not be killed by devas, asuras or nagas. I should not be killed in battle or even otherwise. I should be the emperor. I shall be the emperor of all this world. And let me have that imperishable glory and splendor. He wants immortality and sovereignty over this whole world. So he asked all this, with all these conditions, I want a boon from you, Bhagavan. He said to Lord Brahma. What was the reply of Lord Brahma? You will see in my next upload. Om Namo Narayana Kila Guru Bhagavan Namaste. Om Shri Krishna Arpanamastu.